Yabba dabba do. I know that sounds corny, but do I have a great opportunity for all the net and anybody trading stocks? And that's with a brand new indicator. Now, most indicators that we're already quite familiar with, like the Dow, the SPY, and even Russell 2000, um, they're missing something. Well, they had it at one time, but today they don't have it. That's stuff like volume. That's important. I like volume. I would like to know to see whether markets have gone up or they're flat. Also, advance and decline. What an important concept. Can you tell me how many stocks have gone up and how many stocks have gone down? And then we take those two and we put them on a chart, and we can see that very readily how many has transpired, the differences. And if we look at the charts that we normally would take, like the Dow chart, and maybe a few indicator stocks like Microsoft, IBM, and Facebook, and see what they're doing compared to what the volume discrepancy shows. Then we can get a more accurate uh, way of seeing our market and where do we think it's going to go. And that's something what my stock indicator does. It takes what the Dow used to have. When we used to, years ago, have the Dow, we used to have all the time volume, and they even would note that, well, volume today has increased or decreased, you know what I mean, by quite a bit. And especially advance and decline. I really liked that. It shows you, that if the stock's going to advance, is it peaked and everybody has played, made a move in the market, and we're looking for a correction. And if it's really has fallen, you know what I mean, do we have a peak coming up? Do we have a correction again? These two are compared by how many stocks have risen and how many has declined. If we get more decline than risen, that means we're probably at the bottom of a market and we're looking for a correction. In the same sense, if we get more of a risen stock, an advancing stocks, then we can probably assume that maybe the stock market has peaked at that moment and we can look for a declining market. And believe it or not, when I go over the results of my stock market, which is not going to be today, but probably tomorrow, we should see this very clearly. Well, it's not exactly clear, but it does indicate where the stock's most likely is going to head. I guess a little bit more about this great stock indicator. I mean, it was a difficult program to write, but not too difficult. I don't know why anybody else hasn't decided to put something out like this. But since I'm giving it out to the world, and that's include all stock investors. I've looked at this program and I'm very impressed. I'm telling you, it does reveal a lot of information that the modern indicators all leave behind. And to say that, this is the all in all, it's not it, but it is a great tool. It's a tool that every stock investor should have. You can really review what's in this indicator, look at it and compare it to what you think your stock is going to go, or whether you should invest today or tomorrow. It's an indicator that really reveals a lot about the market. Like, first of all, it reveals that the date, that of course. Then you have how many stocks are in the market itself. Right now, all I'm tracking is NASDAQ. It's just more volatile, I think. I'm going to get out also one for the, of course, for New York Stock Exchange and any other exchanges that you guys might want. Just think what we can take this module to. I mean, we can add anything we want here, guys. You name it, it can be put in here. I mean, I'm thinking about breaking down the volume from advance and decline. I'm thinking about a bunch of other things, like maybe making a separate one that has 6 different price levels. That way we can take the pennies, the mid stocks, the middle stocks, the runner stocks, all the different price levels. We can break those down into individual modules. Like this stock market here, this module here, this great indicator has a bunch of easy to follow modules. I mean, modules are different different ways of looking at the market. The first way of looking at the market, and that's the first number, is how many stocks are in the market. At one time there was like almost 8,000 stocks in the market. That was a great market. But now there's a little over 4,000 constantly 4,000 on market. And you have a couple hundred that's below what I consider tradable. That's under 5,000 volume and lower. Like you get a lot of zeros that are still in the market and they don't trade every day. But you get a lot of stocks that are 5,000 and less. Who's going to trade those? I'm not. I mean, there's not enough in there. And usually they're really a small, down in the penny stocks or the low end of the market. So, and also, and the second one is price average. What's the means of the whole market? You'd be surprised how low it is. I'm amazed myself. Also, we have how many, what's the amount of stocks traded altogether? That's an interesting number. We take, every stock and how much it's worth, and we add them together. What's that indicator represent? It's interesting that those who subscribe will get a preview of like 6 months, a year ago, right before the pandemic took over. What was the market before, and what's the market during the pandemic? Also, that crash we had, and what is that number? Well, there's a number of crashes that I'm really interested in looking at, and that's what we're going to look at in this market also. But back to the great indicator here. So we have, like I said, we have the number of stock prices added together. We have volumes that are added together. That's very interesting. I've divided the volumes by 1,000 on account that, running a complete volume is probably maybe 1 trillion stocks. So I divided by thousands to make it a couple billion stocks. So that's an interesting fact. Of course, then we got advanced decline. And finally, trailing up the whole thing would be how many stocks have not reached the 5,000 mark. And that's usually around 100 or so. Not that many, but, figure that NASDAQ normally would eliminate those stocks. And believe me, many been eliminated. If you ever go into the OTC, which is not worth trading anyway, whoever tells you that it is, it's not. Back in the days when I was trading at, it was normally around 8,000, maybe up to 10,000. Now it's like 12, 15,000 because everybody that got booted off NASDAQ and New York Stock went to OTC, and they're just sitting there, not really trading at all. So, well, that's what this indicator is all about. I'll be adding, like I said, a lot more module, making this a lot more relevant to today's market and relative to your trading vehicle. So I think you should all really think about subscribing, and that's important. Hit that subscribe button so I know that what I'm going to be putting out here is relevant to you as it is going to be to me. Very important. Also, if you want, hit the like button. Like really boosts my YouTube score up a lot. I don't care if you hit the bell or not. I mean, I got so many bells binging off all day long. I eliminate those YouTube accounts. It's just too bothersome every time I log on. They keep on bugging me all the time. So, but basically that's it. I hope you're going to enjoy this, and I hope you pick up my first issues, and that will talk about the market from February. Yes, the market from February. And I was going to just make that point as a standalone and then start again in January or March. But I'm going to do it concurrently since it's so easy just to add different days to the great indicator. So I'm just going to keep on adding days. That way we can see exactly where the advanced decline, and maybe if I get around to adding another module, volumes advanced decline, see what that looks like. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I thank you for taking the time, and God bless. One last thing here. Google wants me to go 10 minutes to be relevant. So I have to give you at least a minute and a half worth of my ramblings on, I guess you'd call it. And I really have to apologize for the quality of my presentations. I need to slow my cadence down because I live out in the East Coast and we tend to speak a little quick. So I'm slowing my cadence down, make it better. But I'm not going to do much editing because it's not about me, this presentation. What it's all about is the great stock indicator. So what you're getting is a great product. Maybe not the best presentation for that product, but nevertheless, it's still a good product. And I hope you'll find it as beneficial to you as it is to me. So again, I thank you. And well, that's 10 minutes. Have a good night.